I want you to vividly imagine a perfectly normal British winter evening. It is 5:30 p.m. on a freezing Tuesday in mid-January. You have just walked through the front door after a long, exhausting day at work, or perhaps you have just picked the kids up from school. The house is completely freezing. Your breath hangs in the air in the hallway. Instinctively, you do what every single person in the United Kingdom does. You turn up the central heating thermostat. You walk into the kitchen, and you switch the kettle on for a cup of tea. You turn on the oven to start cooking the family dinner. And you switch on the television in the living room. For a brief moment, your home feels like a sanctuary. It feels warm, safe, and entirely under your control. But then, you hear a strange, high-pitched beep coming from the little digital display sitting on your kitchen counter. But you walk over to your smart meter display, the little white plastic screen that your energy company practically begged you to install. The screen flashes a red warning. Then, it simply goes blank. And a split second later, the oven powers down. The television cuts out. The hum of the fridge stops. The lights go completely black. The boiler falls entirely silent. You haven't had a local power cut. The streetlights outside are still shining brightly. Your neighbours' windows are still glowing. Your house has been specifically, individually, and remotely disconnected from the national grid. You have been plunged into the cold and the dark. Not by a storm, not by a broken cable, but by an algorithm sitting in a corporate office hundreds of miles away. Welcome to the terrifying reality of the Great British Smart Meter Trap of 2026. Right now, the government, heavily backed by multi-billion-pound energy cartels like British Gas, E.ON and OVO, is waging an aggressive, maze, and relentless psychological war against the British public. They are desperately trying to force every single household in the country to install a smart meter. They tell you it is for your own good. They tell you it will help you save the planet, track your carbon footprint, and put an end to estimated billing. They are not telling you the truth. The real agenda has absolutely nothing to do with saving you money, and it has everything to do with establishing total, centralized control over how, when, and if you are allowed to consume energy in your own private home. Before I pull back the curtain on the terrifying technology inside these little white boxes, exactly how the energy companies are using them to bypass the legal system and force struggling families into the dark, and how they are secretly preparing to roll out catastrophic surge pricing that will punish you simply for cooking dinner at 6 p.m, I need to ask you a massive favour. Please, take exactly 2 seconds right now to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It literally costs you absolutely nothing. It is exactly 2 seconds of your time, but by hitting that subscribe button, you are directly helping this channel grow, and you are helping us beat the algorithm to warn millions of other hard-working British families before they unwittingly allow an energy company to install a Trojan horse inside their home. We rely entirely on your support to bypass the mainstream media and expose these hidden agendas. Thank you so much. Now, let's look at the ultimate mechanism of corporate control. To truly understand the danger hanging on your wall, we have to look at how these devices were aggressively sold to the British public. Think about the sheer volume of letters, emails, and phone calls you have received over the last 5 years regarding your energy meter. The letters arrive printed with urgent red text. The operators on the phone use high-pressure sales tactics. They tell you that your current traditional analog meter is dangerously out of date or nearing the end of its legal lifespan. They make you feel as though you are committing a crime by refusing the upgrade. They offer to send an engineer out to fit it completely free of charge. But as we all know in the modern world, if a massive corporation offers you a piece of highly sophisticated technology for free, you are the product. Your old traditional analog meter was a dumb device. It did one thing, and it did it perfectly. It counted the electricity and gas flowing into your home. That was it. It was a one-way street. For the energy company to know how much you owed them, they had to physically employ a human being to walk down your street, knock on your front door, and read the dials. But you were in control of the physical infrastructure of your home. A smart meter is fundamentally different. It is not just a measuring device. It is a sophisticated, two-way communication node connected to a highly secure national network known as the DCC, Data Communications Company. Yes, it automatically sends your readings to the energy supplier so you don't have to. But the dark, in hidden reality, the part they absolutely gloss over in their friendly television adverts, is that the two-way connection means the energy company can also send digital commands directly into your home. And the most devastating command they can send is the remote disconnection and switch. Let's look at what used to happen if a family fell on hard times. In the old days, if you lost your job, the cost of living skyrocketed and you fell behind on your winter heating bills. The energy company had to follow a strict, arduous legal process. To cut you off or force you onto a more expensive prepayment meter, they had to apply to a magistrate's court for a legal warrant. They had to physically send a team of debt collectors, accompanied by a locksmith and sometimes the police, to break down your front door and forcibly change the meter. It was expensive for the energy company. It took months of legal wrangling, and most importantly, it was a massive public relations disaster. The optics of energy giants breaking into the homes of vulnerable pensioners and single mothers were absolutely toxic. The smart meter completely eliminates that problem for the energy cartel. Because the smart meter has a remote-controlled internal switch, the energy company no longer needs a court warrant. They no longer need a locksmith. They do not need to send a human being to look you in the eye. If you fall into arrears, an algorithm flags your account. A manager sitting in an office in London clicks a button on their computer screen, and instantly, via the mobile data network, a signal is sent to the smart meter in your hallway. Click. Within milliseconds, your credit account is terminated, and your meter is remotely switched into prepayment mode. Instantly, the heating shuts off. The fridge starts to defrost. The lights go out. You are now completely at their mercy. If you want the lights back on, but you must immediately open an app on your smartphone or trudge down to the local corner shop in the freezing rain and hand over cash to top up the meter. And because prepayment tariffs are historically some of the most expensive ways to buy energy in the UK, the poorest and most vulnerable people are mathematically punished with the highest standing charges and unit rates. During the energy crisis over the last few years, we saw hundreds of thousands of British households remotely and forcibly switch to prepayment meters against their will, often without any prior warning. People woke up in freezing houses with zero power. Medical equipment stopped working. Children went to bed in winter coats. The public outrage was so severe that the regulator, Ofgem, had to temporarily force suppliers to halt the practice. But make no mistake, the technology is still sitting right there on your wall. The capability is fully intact. The energy companies have built the digital infrastructure to turn off your life support whenever it suits their balance sheets. But you might be sitting there thinking, well, I pay my bills on time. I have a direct debit. I have a good job. This doesn't affect me. You are completely, terrifyingly wrong. The remote switch to prepayment was only phase 1. It was just the testing ground. It's now that the government has successfully convinced millions of middle-class, financially stable homeowners to install these digital Trojan horses. They are preparing to roll out phase 2. And phase 2 is going to target absolutely everyone. It does not matter how rich you are, and it does not matter if your direct debit has never bounced. They are coming for the way you live your daily life. We pulled back the curtain on the great British smart meter rollout. We exposed the terrifying, hidden capability of the remote disconnection switch, revealing exactly how energy giants can bypass the entire legal system, skipping court warrants and debt collectors, to remotely plunge vulnerable families into the freezing dark with the simple click of a corporate mouse. We saw how the smart meter is fundamentally designed to put the power entirely in the hands of the supplier, not the consumer. But if you are sitting at home watching this, thinking that you are perfectly safe because you have a good salary, you pay your direct debit on time every single month, and you have never missed a utility bill in your life, you need to listen to me very carefully. You are completely, terrifyingly wrong. The remote switch to prepayment mode was just the testing ground. It was the energy cartel flexing their new digital muscles. Now that the government has successfully manipulated, pressured and coerced millions of middle class, our financially stable homeowners into installing these digital Trojan horses in their hallways, they are preparing to roll out Phase 2. And Phase 2 is not about punishing the poor. It is about fundamentally controlling the daily behaviour of the entire British population. It is about rationing your energy, monitoring your movements, and legally extracting maximum profit from your family's basic daily routine. To understand why they are doing this, you have to look at the catastrophic state of the UK national grid. For the last 2 decades, successive British governments have been rapidly shutting down our traditional, reliable, baseload power stations, the massive coal and nuclear plants that generated constant, uninterrupted electricity regardless of the weather. In their place, we have transitioned heavily to renewable energy to meet incredibly strict net zero targets. But there is a massive, unsolvable problem with this transition, and the wind does not always blow in the North Sea, and the sun certainly does not always shine in the United Kingdom. When the grid is under severe strain, when it is a freezing, still, dark evening in January, the national grid simply cannot generate enough electricity to power everyone's homes at the exact same time. In the past, the government would simply build more power stations to meet the demand. But today, the strategy has completely reversed. Instead of generating more power for you, the government and the energy cartels have decided to force you to use less power for them. This strategy is known in the industry as demand destruction. And the ultimate weapon they are going to use to enforce this demand destruction is sitting right there on your kitchen wall, the smart meter. Here is exactly how the trap is going to spring shut. Currently, most people in the UK are on a standard variable tariff. This means you pay a flat, predictable rate for your electricity, no matter what time of day you use it. Whether you boil the kettle at 3 a.m. or 6 p.m, a unit of electricity costs you exactly the same amount of money. But the smart meter does not just read your total usage once a month. It takes a highly accurate digital reading every single half an hour, and it beams that data directly to your supplier. With this half-hourly data allows energy companies to introduce something called time of use tariffs, or dynamic pricing. If you have ever used the Uber app on a busy Saturday night when it is pouring with rain, you will know exactly what surge pricing is. When demand is high, the price of a taxi automatically triples. The energy cartels are bringing exactly the same aggressive algorithmic surge pricing directly into your living room. Let's look at the reality of the 6 p.m. stealth tax. Imagine a normal family evening. At 5:30 p.m, the entire country arrives home from work and school. Millions of front doors open simultaneously. Millions of people turn on the lights, switch on the television, turn up the central heating, and start cooking dinner. Between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m, the demand on the national grid explodes. It is the absolute peak time for energy usage. Under the new smart meter dynamic tariffs, the energy companies will brutally punish you for daring to live a normal life. They will offer you incredibly cheap electricity in the middle of the night when nobody is awake. But between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m, the price of a kilowatt hour will surge to double, triple, or even quadruple the standard rate. If you want to come home from a hard day's work, put a load of dirty clothes in the washing machine, turn on the electric oven to roast a chicken for your children, and sit down in a warm living room to watch the evening news. You are going to be financially penalised for it. You will be paying a premium, luxury tax simply for trying to feed your family at tea time. The government and the regulator, Ofgem, call this incentivising behavioural change. But let's call it what it actually is. It is behavioural modification through financial terror. They are deliberately trying to price the working and middle classes out of using electricity during normal waking hours. They want you to delay cooking your dinner until 9 p.m. They want you to set your washing machine to run on a spin cycle at 3 a.m., keeping you awake. They are treating you not as a paying customer, but as a nuisance to the grid that must be controlled and managed. And if you think surge pricing is the ultimate end goal, you are vastly underestimating the technological capabilities of the smart meter network. The ultimate goal is direct, remote interference with your personal property. Over the next few years, the government is aggressively pushing to ban traditional gas boilers and force homeowners to install incredibly expensive electric heat pumps. Simultaneously, they are pushing everyone to buy electric vehicles, EVs. Both of these massive, energy-hungry devices are completely smart. They connect to your home Wi-Fi and, critically, they communicate directly with your smart meter. This creates a terrifying scenario known as load control. Imagine it is the middle of a freezing winter week. The grid is teetering on the edge of a blackout because the wind has dropped. Without asking your permission, the national grid sends a signal to your energy supplier. Your supplier sends a signal to your smart meter. And your smart meter sends a signal directly to your heat pump and your electric car charger. Instantly, the algorithm remotely turns down your household thermostat by 2 degrees. Your house starts to go cold, and you cannot override it. At the same time, the charger connected to your electric car in the driveway completely shuts off to save power for the grid. Worse still, under a new technology called vehicle-to-grid, V2G, the energy company can actually reverse the flow of power. And they can literally suck the electricity out of your car battery to help power the streetlights in your neighbourhood. You wake up at 7 a.m. to drive to work, and you discover that your car only has a 20% charge left because the energy company drained it while you were sleeping. They are turning your private home, your expensive heating system, and your vehicle into extensions of the state-run power grid. You are paying thousands of pounds for the privilege of buying the equipment. Yeah, but they hold the ultimate remote control. The smart meter is the ultimate Trojan horse. It is a surveillance device that monitors exactly when you are home, exactly what appliances you use, and exactly how you live your life, feeding that incredibly valuable data back to corporate cartels who will use it to squeeze every last penny out of your daily routine. But you do not have to accept this dystopian reality. You have legal rights, and you have the power to resist. The energy companies rely entirely on your ignorance and your fear to force these devices onto your walls. We uncovered the sinister reality of surge pricing and the devastating 6 p.m. stealth tax. We showed you how the government and the energy cartel are planning to use half-hourly digital data to financially punish you for daring to cook your family dinner, run your washing machine, or heat your home during normal waking hours. While secretly reserving the power to remotely drain your electric car battery while you sleep. If you are watching this, you are probably feeling a deep sense of anger and a complete loss of control. The sanctuary of your private home is being invaded by a corporate algorithm designed to extract maximum profit from your daily routine. The system feels completely rigged, but you do not have to be a victim. You do not have to hand over the control of your heating, your electricity, and your financial security to a faceless energy cartel. The entire smart meter rollout relies on one single fundamental weapon: your ignorance. They rely on high-pressure sales tactics, misleading letters, and psychological manipulation to force these digital Trojan horses onto your walls. But once you know the law, their entire strategy completely falls apart. Here is your 2026 Smart Meter Survival Guide. Grab a pen and paper because you need to know exactly how to fight back. And Strategy 1. The mandatory lie and the absolute refusal. If you still have a traditional analog dumb meter in your home, you are currently holding the golden ticket to your own privacy. But your energy company is going to fight tooth and nail to take it away from you. You have likely already received the letters. They arrive in brown envelopes with urgent red text stamped across the front. They send you aggressive emails, and their call centre staff ring you during your dinner time. Yet they will use very specific, carefully crafted language. They will tell you that your current meter is dangerously out of date, or that it has reached the end of its legal certification life. They will say an engineer must be booked to upgrade your property. Do not fall for it. It is a lie by omission. Under UK law and under the strict rules set out by the energy regulator, Ofgem, smart meters are absolutely 100% optional. There is no legal obligation whatsoever for you to accept one. When the call centre operator tells you your meter's certification has expired, they are technically telling the truth. But what they deliberately hide from you is that they have a legal obligation to replace it with a traditional meter if you explicitly demand one, or they can simply recertify the existing meter. You must be absolutely firm. Do not engage in a debate. Do not give them excuses about why you don't want one. Simply state, I am exercising my legal right to refuse a smart meter, but do not contact me regarding this upgrade again. If an engineer turns up at your door unannounced, do not let them inside. They have absolutely no legal right of access to cross your threshold without a court warrant, and no judge in the United Kingdom is going to grant an energy company a warrant simply to upgrade a perfectly safe, functioning meter. You hold the power. Keep your door firmly shut. Strategy 2. The Data Blackout, opting out of the 6 p.m. tax. But what if you are watching this and you already have a smart meter? What if you moved into a new build house, or you were coerced into accepting 1 year ago before you knew the risks? Are you permanently trapped in the surge pricing nightmare? No, you are not. You have a massive legal shield available to you, and it is called the Data Protection Act and UK GDPR. If the only way the energy companies can charge you triple the price for boiling your kettle at 6 p.m. is if they know exactly when you are boiling it. To do this, your smart meter sends them highly detailed half-hourly data readings. It creates a perfect, granular digital footprint of your entire life, but it is your personal data, and under UK privacy laws, you have the absolute right to restrict how a corporation processes that data. You must immediately contact your energy supplier, whether it is British Gas, OVO, E.ON, or Octopus, and explicitly revoke your consent for half-hourly data collection. Demand that they change your data preferences to monthly readings only. By law, they must comply. They will try to talk you out of it, claiming you will miss out on tailored savings and exclusive tariffs. Ignore them. By restricting their access to monthly readings, you effectively blindfold the algorithm. But they can only see your total usage for the month, making it mathematically impossible for them to apply dynamic time of use surge pricing to your evening routine. You turn their sophisticated surveillance device back into a simple monthly counting machine. Strategy 3. The Prepayment Defense, the Vulnerability Shield. If your biggest fear is the remote disconnection switch, the horrifying prospect of the energy company remotely plunging you into darkness and forcing you onto a punitive prepayment meter because you fell behind on a bill, you must build a legal wall around your account. Energy companies are terrified of bad PR, and they are terrified of Ofgem's vulnerability rules. If you have anyone in your household who is of pensionable age, if you have children under the age of 5, even if anyone suffers from a chronic illness, a mental health condition, or relies on refrigerated medication or medical equipment, you must immediately sign up for the Priority Services Register, PSR. It is completely free. Every supplier has one. By legally registering your household as vulnerable, you place a massive red flag on your account in their database. If you fall into arrears, the algorithm cannot simply click a button and disconnect you. It becomes a massive regulatory and legal risk for them to remotely switch a vulnerable household to prepayment mode. They are forced to step back, assign a human being to your case, and offer you manageable payment plans. The Priority Services Register is your ultimate shield against the remote switch-off. The push for smart meters has never been about saving the planet, and it has certainly never been about saving you money. It is the greatest corporate data grab in British history. It is a systematic, government-backed infrastructure project designed to transfer the control of your private home directly into the hands of multi-billion-pound utility cartels. They want to monitor you, they want to ration your energy, and they want to penalise you for simply trying to keep your family warm and fed. But the resistance is growing. Millions of British citizens are waking up to the scam. They are locking their meter boxes. They are revoking their data consent. And they are taking back control of their own homes. I want to hear directly from you. Has your energy company been aggressively harassing you to install a smart meter? Have you received the threatening letters? Or worse, have you already had one installed and noticed your bills suddenly skyrocketing, or been remotely switched to prepayment without your permission? Get down in the comments section below and tell me exactly what these companies are doing to you. We need to name and shame them. The mainstream media is fully complicit in this rollout, so we have to share our stories and expose the truth ourselves. Your comment could be the exact warning that saves another family from opening their door to a smart meter engineer. If this deep dive investigation opened your eyes, if it gave you the courage to finally say no to the high-pressure salespeople, or if it gave you the legal tools to blindfold the energy cartel and protect your family's data, please take exactly 2 seconds right now to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It literally costs you absolutely nothing. It is just 2 seconds of your time. But every single like and subscription tells the YouTube algorithm to push this video out to the masses. You are directly helping us grow, and, most importantly, you are helping us warn millions of other hard-working British families before they unwittingly allow a Trojan horse into their hallway. Your support is our absolute shield, and it allows us to keep exposing the agendas the establishment wants kept hidden. Stay strong, protect your home, keep your data private, and I'll see you in the next one.